Internet! What's up, Internet? Back again doing a quick, informative video of how to do a water change from a sump in a freshwater tank. As you can see here, on the left-hand side, the first chamber is the water that comes from the tank. It comes dropping down in the overflow from the tank, which would be, in air quotes, the dirty water. And as we move along, you can see my sump is a 4-chamber sump. The final chamber is where the external pump pulls water out and returns it back up to the aquarium. In this shot here, you can't see it, but you can see the bulkhead where it's drawing that filtered water and returning it back up into the tank. All right, moving along. Some of the equipment that is down in the sump here would be my thermometer. This is a Life thermometer, and they run about $5 on Amazon, and they're kind of junk. They're kind of just terrible. Sort of a small bane of my existence, and have more or less eliminated it from my life and no longer use it anymore. I just dropped it back in there just to show y'all. Here is a infrared thermometer. It's a point and shoot thermometer that I use to check all temperatures now. A little more expensive, obviously, a little more expensive than just a drop-in thermometer, but well worth the cost. I don't need to even put it in anything. You just point and shoot and get an accurate reading of the temperature. As you can see here, I'm right about 68 degrees. It's reading about 67.9. Over here it's reading 68. But to all fish keepers out there, go ahead and get one of these. They don't cost that much these days, and it's well worth the expense. All right, moving along on our little overview of equipment here. You'll see in the third chamber of my sump here, I have my heater, my CO2 reactor, and this mysterious extra pump here that is hooked up to a hose. This pump only runs when I'm doing water changes, and understandably, some people can't afford this, but this is just a lifesaver as far as your back goes. Where does that little water line go? Oh, it heads over here to a drain that is plumbed into the house drain, to the main septic drain system. You can see here on the right-hand side, I have a small vent hole drilled into it. It also runs a 2-inch vent further off in the system, which is not highlighted here. One of the aquarium products I highly endorse is called Safe. This is the dried bulk version of Seachem Prime, made by the same company. It costs about the same for this bottle, and yet it does 50,000 gallons is what it will dechlorinate. I highly recommend getting this. I highly recommend this over the Prime product. It's just a real time saver and a real money saver. Alright, here we are with the Safe, adding it in. I added into the final chamber, which is where I'm going to be adding the new water, the new clean, quote, clean water coming off of the tap. It does take a little bit of measuring, but I'm pretty sure you have a teaspoon hanging around the house somewhere, or a spoon. Half the time I don't even measure it, I just kind of eyeball exactly what I'm doing, and it's always worked out fine. Now here's the tap I showed you guys the other day. This comes direct off the water supply to the house, and as you can see, I didn't like exactly how much it was agitating the water. But here we go. While we add the, we just plug in the pump. You know, that's pretty simple, right? I think you guys get that. And here I am turning the water back on after turning the pump on. I got a double shot in there of smoothness. Look at that. Smooth video making on my behalf. But as you can see here, I've also got a piece of tape that highlights where I like my sump to be running. Because it's open air and my tank is also open air, I do get evaporation off of this tank, which is something that I'll highlight later in a later video of how to avoid some of the humidity issues that I deal with on a regular basis. So I got on the audio here kind of messed up there for a second, but you can see how much it's agitating the water dumping out of the faucet. These faucets aren't really designed to be run without a hose on them. It's just the type of hose bib that they are for your house. They're designed to run with the hose on them. So of course I went to go grab a hose and add it on there using my trusty really crappy PVC cutters. These are the worst ones. I hate those ones the most, but they're the ones that I always seem to find for some reason. I went ahead and added this little length of hose on here. That chunk of hose that I cut there is actually just a hose reel adapter. That's just for adding a hose reel. It costs about $4 at Home Depot, and I've got like 10 of them, so I just went ahead and cut one down and added it in, and now you can see it's not aerating all crazy like it was before and just slamming water and mixing it up that way. Now it's adding in without all that extra aeration that I don't need. All right, the reason why I showed you all the thermometer earlier is this is how I can tell how much water volume I've added or am taking out. Through basically through denial and error, I worked my way through this system on the 240-gallon tank here. That when it's sitting at 68 degrees, once it's dropped 4 degrees down to 64 is when I've changed enough water. I understand that this is a bit of a ridiculous way to change water, but it's how I ended up measuring things to find out what was going on, and was the most reliable way to know that I'm not affecting my crystal shrimp in a real serious manner by dropping the water temperature like 20 degrees or something crazy like that. And it's the right amount of water. I'm changing about 50 gallons out, but it's just this quick to get it done. And as you can see, my tank still runs while I'm doing my water change. I don't have to turn everything off, and get out buckets and do all this crazy stuff. And it ends up just being such a time saver, and it makes it super easy for me to do my regular water changes. Otherwise, I find real piss poor kind of lame excuses to not do my water change. Like, oh, I'll just skip it till tomorrow. I don't really feel like lifting a bunch of stuff today. But that's that's one of the main reasons why I set the system up this way, just to make it a lot easier for myself and for all my critters. Basically doing these water changes helps my shrimp in all sorts of different ways, and the fish too, especially with like breeding and whatnot. They won't breed if I give them garbage water. They just won't. But getting to the end of this video, I'd like to say thanks to all the new subscribers out there. If you're not a subscriber, just hit the subscribe thing. Helps me out. You don't have to like it or comment or anything like that, but that is seriously appreciated if you do. And I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, and I hope you all have a lovely day. Later.